Temporary staffing is typically used for a short-term assignment. Normally it's less than 3 months. And the workers who we term as associates are paid on an hourly or even a daily basis. Contract staffing tend to be a little bit more longer term. Typically with our clients, we have them on a year-to-year renewal basis, and they are paid on a monthly basis. Now, the sexiest part is outsourcing, which is really an output-driven business where the company or a business model like us are paid on a delivery. It's output-based as opposed to how many associates we provide. So this is typically the difference that you find in our industry. You hear this. In today's business, the global uncertainties that has hit most economies and markets, the ability to flex up and flex down your manpower cost has become critical. Companies don't know what's in store tomorrow. So if they have a contingent workforce that can flex up and down, it immediately reduces their business liability. So should their production or should change in business model happen, they're able to flex down the staff. Now, it becomes eminently difficult if they are all on permanent employment. The staffing model presents an alternative. So number one, it gives you the flexibility, as you rightly said, Liz. Number one is flexibility of adding on staff on a just-in-time basis.
Right.
Number two, you're able to flex up and down. When I have a need, I increase my manpower, and after 2 months, I don't really finish that peak, I let them go. So that's what's happening in the market today. The challenges companies have in utilizing contract staffing, from our discussions with our clients, the first piece is the hidden cost. They expect a particular cost, end of the day, the invoice says differently, which is in most instances much higher. And these hidden costs adds a burden to the company's operating expense. There also, I believe...
the second one, I would say it's inflexible contract agreements that the client would face with the agency, and that's something that they really have to look into in detail. And thirdly would be there's no responsibility in terms of the supplying the staff. And when there is a downtime or when they really need the staff, they're just not there to supply the 2 or 3 added position or the staff that they require. So it's key that they really need to have that support that's given from an agency to the client.
In a variety of manners. Number one, it is a cost that we agree for a certain scope, we agree for a certain rate. When there is the inflexibility of contract arrangements that take place, every little variation to that scope has an attached dollar value, and this dollar value sometimes tends to be arbitrarily. So clients find out, hang on, it's not the same as what you promised me. And then when you look at the contract, and there are these terms that really locks the client in a bit of a difficult manner. So this creates a lot of hidden costs. So what was expected not to happen has already happened, and the cost increases northbound. As such, today clients are increasingly taking more effort to review contract arrangements to make sure that it's kosher. And that's sad because that elongates the entire process as well. And here there's a critical business need that needs to be addressed. So most of our clients, typically tell us the frustration at the end is because of this inflexible contract arrangements and because there's hidden costs, at the end of the day, they don't know what they're going to get in terms of cost. Now, there's one thing also, if I may add, is the responsibility of a partner becomes critical, because in this instance, the associates are employed by the business partner, people like us. There must be an understanding that we, at the end of the day, are responsible for these individuals as they go to work. Now, functionally, it's our clients, yes, but there's a HR piece that needs to be sitting with us, and that's an area where sometimes clients get adds on to the cost of them putting more people to work because someone's managed these guys, etc.
One, I would say, would be to reduce the overall cost of hire. I think that's key. That's something that you should be looking into. Secondly, would be to improve the productivity, where we actually see cost savings, and that cost savings will relate back to their production, where it helps reduce their overall time. And thirdly, will be the flexibility. That's what I mentioned earlier, the greater flexibility in terms of the responsibility that the agency has in them. So these are the key three areas that is vital.
Part of the overall cost of the arbitration of costs happens primarily because of when an agreement is signed, the T's and C's are not looked into in detail. Now, a bona fide agency would clearly outline the cost structure and anything that impacts that cost. I think that's step number one. It's very important for an agency to be able to have a transparent contract that clients clearly understand. The second piece is really to get involved in the business, and this is where I think many clients has expressed frustration, because it seems like I get this staff, I manage them, I do everything, and there's no involvement from agencies. And this is the frustration we hear most of our clients telling us. And therein lies a problem. A partnership must exist. So it's a clear contract, a deep business partnership, and then you would find that eventually we are able to reduce the cost of hire and improve productivity, because we are in the thick of doing business with our clients. Gone are the days where you supply a man to work and you're back in your office doing other things. Today, clients want more involvement. They want engagement. They want you to take an interest in their business and get involved in the business. Otherwise, we do not add value as a agency. Would you not say that?
Right, yeah. Firstly, it's the onboarding. Before we get the right fit, we actually onboard them. We explain to them in detail, and followed by giving them the actual hire, exactly what they need to do, and from there they will actually go in to do a good job, and they understand. And that's how we really care for them, and we explain to them in detail so that they will be able to do their work.
And Elizabeth, you hit a very good point. From our experiences, where the onboarding is done right, the engagement with the staff, and also the ability to complete the assignments there. Where the onboarding fails, attrition tends to happen. And that comes back to an agency to be able to do that orientation of that onboarding appropriately. And we've seen this in many instances.
Many times I think we've seen things like where they just get into it and it's just a body fixing in there, but there's no personal touch in how we manage that.
Right. The cornerstone of our business has been contingent staffing. So it's been the temporary, contract, outsourcing, and to a larger extent, clients also get us to do their payrolling for them. So it's within the ambit of business services in HR. So today, clients engage us on many fronts. The most important thing client engages is the ability to help them resolve a certain problem that's surrounding an increase in business or perhaps a decrease in business. We help our clients primarily in a GIT manner, just in time. Although we have the regular businesses that go on for long term, but where clients see the value in StaffWorks is when they have a short-term manpower requirement with a certain level of skills that require an engagement from an agency, we tend to go quickly and work with them on this. So the just-in-time manpower staffing becomes critical in this instance.
We support the financial services, the logistics and supply chain, the FMCG, the IT and data, and the operations, which is the warehousing. So these are the key areas that really require this sort of staffing and contract.
During the pandemic, one of our clients was required to actually be able to ramp up their production for a particular item. And this is a short-term ramp-up that required approximately 70 additional staff, and this is where we come in, supplying that X number of associates to deliver the output. We work with e-commerce companies, and there's during the MCO, the online delivery has increased, and therein the warehouse requires more warehouse assistance, and this is where we get involved. So it's a different timing, but we see that the logistics supply chain, the manufacturing, and the FMCG seem to have this critical mass happening around contract staffing at the moment. Once we do a job analysis, we understand what our client is looking for. Then it's important to identify the candidates or the associates that fit the bill. What is critical to this again is, number one, understanding what our client is doing with this piece of work. At times, upon engaging the client, what turned out to be a 50-man team running over a period of 24 hours turns out to be much lesser. We're able to talk about a solution that our client feels that we feel is beneficial in engagement with the client, and looking at, whilst improving productivity, reducing the overall cost of hire. So in some instances, we have tracked from what our client's brief was and what was delivered at the end of the day. There's a delta, and the delta was cost savings the client will plow back into their business because of simply looking at the model and saying, hey, hang on, there's a different solution to this. Let's do it this way. And it comes back to really that first piece, consultative approach and understanding our client better.
And at the end, I think we have the value proposition that we, actually provide, and that's what it's seen that the clients actually value, that is handpick them, carefully to see whether they are the right ones, whether they can, across different industries in different sectors, and we actually pick them from let's say a job for a warehouse assistant, whether they worked in a machine or have they worked in a logistics warehouse. So it differs from the industry that they require. So we actually go back to it and to see and pick the right candidates from the particular industry and fit them into the warehousing. So it's key to do that.
It's a strength of our internal recruiters. I think that's key to this whole thing. We have a team that is dedicated, and we are constantly conducting interviews. Again, we do not profess to be all things to all men. The industries we have selected, it's again based on the fact that we have got subject matter experts in this area. So our interview that happens every single day. So we are building a pool of candidates, and once the opportunity arises, we then start to deploy these candidates. But why would the candidates stay with us then? Why would they want to say, I would like to stay with you FirstWorks and get on to your next assignment as well? Number one is these folks, they want to believe we are interested in their career. You would hear from us later about the counseling that we do to understand where they go with their career. That helps, number one. The second thing is, now we're looking at providing training, upskilling and reskilling these individuals, and this creates a bond of trust with us. And that is why in our business, referral is the key. More often than not, our candidates come because of referral. I talk to Liz has got 10 friends, and they come, and it multiplies in that way. So that's really what we do. It's a promise to our clients that should our candidates, our associates, not meet their satisfaction within 48 hours at work, we will not charge them for that. And the reason for that is it also puts the trust on us, the onus on us, to provide reliable and candidates of quality. Otherwise, we too would pick that hit of running a loss.
Yeah, absolutely right. Firstly, they would schedule a call with us, and we'll go in, discover, and give them information, and review the whole proposal. We'll go through that and then execute a plan. That's it.